Good afternoon. Welcome to the Arts Council for Monterey County, our weekly online artist spotlight. And my name is Karen Lee Garcia. I'm the programs director. And today I am so honored to welcome local photographer and our artworks at Pacific Grove artist, Michelle Robertson. Hello. So I'm just going to do a short, brief introduction. So to introduce you to our audience here on Facebook. So Michelle Robertson was born and raised in Northern California. Michelle has ventured away, but always seems to be drawn back home to Monterey County, where her family and her heart is. While attending local college, she was stricken with a shutterbug affliction. About 10 years ago, Michelle took her photography passion to a professional level. You can find her outdoors as she searches for beautiful vistas with her pit mix pound puppy Lucy, or capturing the essence of the amazing people she has met. Michelle has many breathtaking landscape photos on her website at michellerobertsonphotography.com. Her art is available at Nancy Dodd's Gallery in Carmel and at her artworks at Pacific Grove Co-op Studio Space at the American Tin Cannery. During the COVID crisis, Michelle found her calling in fine art compositing, which combines several photos together to create what often resembles a painting. She enjoys this new way to express her thoughts and ideas in a beautiful medium. She shares with us now her journey and process for discovering a story in each shot. So welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so wanted to open up the conversation with you. My colleague, Erin, who we'll see later, she'll join us to kind of share her story working with you to share about what has happened when Monterey County just went into shelter in place. It just shut the door on us.
Oh my God. Before the quarantine or Armageddon, I was working 3 jobs. It's expensive to live in Monterey, as you know. I was working in a bar and in an event in Folktail Winery, and they just shut down. Like that. It just shut down. And
like that.
just like that. My reflector fell. And it was scary, but what it did was allow me to focus on what my third job, which is the most important, which is my art. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I had just been learning about compositing, and with the absence of work, I was able to really delve into it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we had talked about was a picture I did of one of my friends, Jessica. I did a shot of her through a window. So we didn't actually touch. We didn't, I just said, sit there. And I photographed her. And so it was the perfect quarantine photo. That's one thing that with what I do, I don't actually have to be close to someone to do it, which has been really fantastic. And
Well, before I show the photo, with fine art compositing, was that a medium that you were kind of just dabbling with before, like exploring, and what made it, what the time, like you had more time now, like what's the process with fine art compositing? What makes the difference now, that you've had more time?
Yeah, that having more time really helps, because doing compositing takes a long time. Mm-hmm. It's from start to finish, you are photographing multiple images to put into one, and to make it look as if they belong takes time. It's in Photoshop, and it takes a lot of time to just meld things together correctly. It's a skill that I've just recently learned right as COVID shut us down. Mm-hmm. Is when I had started learning this, and so I've taken the opportunity to perfect. Well,
Right.
there's no perfect, but to try to perfect this skill, I didn't realize how much I loved it
Mm-hmm.
until I gave it everything, and I just love every single bit of that process. And this time away from a million jobs has given me the opportunity to really explore it. And I started out with doing normal photography, photographing a person, photographing trees,
Right.
and now my art is turned into this. Does that make sense?
So let's share the photo
Okay.
so everyone knows what we are referring to. So open up this photo and make it a little bit bigger. So talk us through a little bit about maybe who this is and how this piece came came about. Like you're saying, it's in reaction to being socially distant, so it's
Mm.
called A Girl in a Window, but it doesn't look like a girl in a window. So tell us about what we're seeing.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's my friend Jessica. She has this beautiful large window at her house, so I got to stand outside to do this. What you see here, she was here. She had some of these jasmine in her hair and one rose. So I put the other flowers in her hair. I made the jasmine. I added more jasmine to her hair, and then all of the flowers on the outside that look like a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I added. Behind her head was reflection of the house next door. So,
Okay.
I got rid of that. And so this is several layers on top of each other of different flowers. And um, the one thing is that there was glass, which you
Right,
can't see.
right, right.
Like if you can see down here, you see like a tree limb with some flowers. That was shot at
Uh-huh.
MPC, Monterey Peninsula College. I shot that.
Really?
Yeah, I shot that a couple months ago. And then the flowers that were added here were shot in my window at my home.
Yeah, and I mean, you would never know that without having that explanation. And it also, I mean, the picture to me, I mean, just without even knowing that part of the story, it looks vintage. It looks like it's from like, the early 1900s. It's like a little haunting. It's, and I know that with this new medium to you, it's your focus is kind of on storytelling. So this to me, like, without, who knows if that's the story you want to tell. To me, it tells me a whole story and has me asking like a lot of questions.
Well, I'm hoping that's what I hope with a lot of my work is that you look at it and you ask yourself, you know, what's going on here, and you can even formulate your own stories. I just want you to be able to think, like,
Right,
ooh, not just like, oh, that's nice, but like, oh, why is this like this, and how is, and when you
right.
can, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's we're going to share a couple images as we talk, but um I'm curious about that, and the storytelling, and maybe how you're working with people. Are you working with them and then they're telling you a story? Are you thinking of a story that you want to tell? Like, how's that evolving?
um I the process that I have is I come up with an idea, I sketch it out. I have show you right here. I have my sketchbook,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look in here, you'll see examples of like when I did the crow shoot. I have the girl with the crow, and I was going to do poppies. I ended up doing poppies, and then this is explaining like what is going to be in the shot. So that is the first thing, is I sketch out every detail, because it's really important the day of the shoot to have all those details. And then I find the girl that's right for it. Like the crow one, I wanted somebody obviously with dark hair, and
Mm-hmm.
so I find a person that I feel would be best suited for that. And
And maybe we could show that image right now of the crow. Okay, here it comes. And this piece really, I think it's coming.
Okay.
It's just taking it. And if it doesn't, I can actually show it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So
This piece is just.
So I did a little research on crows, and basically in Native American, a lot of Native American cultures, crows were good, and they brought light and civilization to mankind. So I wanted something that wasn't, like about death, because when you think of crows and ravens, it's all dark and da 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 da, And so I wanted something about and she is the crow spirit, and she's releasing the crows to the world, and that was kind of where I was going with that. But I think about the story that I'm going to tell when I do that. Some of it's just simple. Like, I have a cat, and I photographed him. You don't have that picture. I photographed him overlooking that cage that I shot the one girl with. And I put her as a fairy inside there, and he was lurking. I just thought that was funny. I was like, oh.
We don't have that photo, though, to share.
Darn it, yeah. I have a cat, though. So, yeah.
Is this photo here the sun crow? I'm going to share that. I'll share it from my computer. Is this photo also from that same shoot? Okay.
Yes. And so that actually was a ceramic ball. And I took a glass ball and put a flashlight in front of it and took a picture and then put that in her hand because I wanted her to be actually holding a ball. Mm-hmm. And so she's the crow spirit giving light to mankind. That was the purpose of that. And
she's in that particular backdrop too?
She is on that one. We shot the other one at the studio, the art studio, Artworks. Mm-hmm. And this one I took her out to the Rip Van Winkle Dog Park in Pacific Grove, California. Okay. And no dogs peed on us, which was nice. And I stuck her in the trees, and everything you see was there, except for that was an easier one. I just had to get the light right.
Right. And let me see, I'm going to share a couple other ones that look like they're more in, a studio space. So this particular piece with your same friend.
Mm-hmm. That's the same dress. That was the same day. I shot her from a distance with her on her couch, and I asked her to the couch series because there's 3 of them. It was basically
the other ones too.
When you're sad and you laying on your couch, basically. Mm-hmm. I said, look sad, lay on your couch and look sad. Now this one, keep this one up. This one, her dress was one of those cotton ones that don't really have a lot of give and are really sewed pretty close to itself. So with this one, after she got up, I took the dress and I had it laid on the couch like that. And so this was mini stitchings of the same dress to make it look like it had volume to give that effect, because it does not have any volume.
See, it was tight. You would never know unless you're told. That's amazing. That is amazing. And let's see, was there that was there another one in my series? Let's see here.
There was. Oh, yeah.
So I just don't want to click open the wrong one. No, that's different. We'll talk about that one in a second. Let's see. No, we'll talk about this particular piece.
I was very thankful that my model, Lindsay Berry, knew how to float on her back. And she wasn't really drowning. That was on the Carmel Valley River, behind the Mid-Valley Safeway. I love women in chiffon. I love flow. It was kind of supposed to be like a water nymph, Ophelia, I wasn't sure where I was going. It was more like the water nymph, like having her in chiffon looking like, look at me, I'm so sexy, come to me, and then she kills you. Water nymphs. They're not people. But then she started floating on her back, and I did an Ophelia one and just fell in love with this. This one wasn't as complex as the others, but if you see where the chiffon ends up on top,
right,
I had to stitch more water over here because that's where it ended. The photograph ended, and I didn't like the composition. I had to add more water, so that I did do. Mm-hmm. And then all the little tweaks of color and stuff.
No, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
So we're gonna bring I'm going to bring Erin in. I'll have her come back
I keep
on.
forgetting to look at the light. Look at the light.
I know. Look at the light in the meantime. And we're going to talk about this piece and her experience. So there she is.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
So Erin Lyman is one of our program coordinators, and this is Erin in this piece, which took me by surprise. I looked at it, and then we were talking about it, and I was like, which piece are you talking about? Because I didn't even, it was like totally transformed. So can you both please share how this came about?
Erin, you want to start?
Well, sure. I first met Michelle really through the artworks at Pacific Grove Co-op Gallery on the third Friday nights, the events that they host there. And we just gelled right away, but she had one of those moments where she was like, blonde, red, blood, and I was like, yeah, let's build on that.
And that's not this.
That's not this.
Either.
That's not this. This was our first shoot, and this right here actually was only the second time we worked together. But when we build the story together, I knew after working with her on that kind of noir shoot just before COVID crisis that she was someone that I wanted to work with again. And we shot physically distant both times, but we really did build a story together. Working with Michelle is really a beautiful process for both the artist and the model. At least in my experience, we tell the story together. And you can build the story from afar. You know, there's lots of text messages and you can send images, and there's so many ways to communicate. And then when you get there, you know, already dressed and already having the vision, I mean, really, we shoot for less than an hour every time. And this time here with the owl mother was maybe like 15 minutes. Because you just go in knowing what it is you're trying to depict. And this was something that I reached out to Michelle for. I had seen her Crow series that she'd been posting, and I had known that my mom was sick for quite a while, and that I wanted to do some sort of fine art photography in her memory or in the honor of our last few weeks together. And so I developed this idea of what I was hoping for and started working with Michelle, and we really we came about this together. But it was such an important piece for me to have some closure, to lose my mom on March 25th, right when this crisis started. There hasn't really been any time to schedule a time for a celebration of life, or memorials, or any of those things that we would traditionally do to bring closure to our personal selves. So my mom was a model. I actually have a picture of her back in her modeling days.
Gorgeous.
And she did fine art photography and modeling in her youth, and I have dabbled in it with some friends here, Brandon Raymond and Michelle. And I knew that I wanted to do that as a tribute to her. And I really didn't feel a sense of peace until Michelle created this image, because well, she can tell you. Michelle, what do you think when you see this piece?
So we discussed all the components of what we wanted to do with this piece, and it was a way for Erin to honor her mother. And when I finished this one, I did two, but when I finished this one, how I interpreted it was that Erin's character, the woman with the owl wings, is looking up to the sky of loss of her mother, and her mother has transformed into an owl and is right behind her, letting her know that she's here and she'll always be here. And sorry, it's hard to talk about because, you know, it made me cry when I finished it. And I was very thankful that Aaron appreciated and understood what we've done together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my pieces are not emotional like that. This one was. This one
Right.
meant something to me, to be able to do that for somebody who, you know, is just awesome and I really like. So it was magical.
It's such a beautiful and powerful, and you know, you feel the strength, and I just love it. It's so beautiful. So
Working with Michelle is definitely a collaboration, and I know that she's always looking for people who want to build stories for. I know you're going to touch on that, but I just want to say thank you, Michelle, for helping me create this piece, but also to looking at it, this was shot, again, all the way across our artworks classroom. So
Yeah.
This was taken in a cement floor, white wall, and
right.
and this came out of it. So
You would never.
I'm so glad that you found this calling, and keep it up. And I think that your fine art composition is amazing. And if this is what you're doing only after, you know, a couple months of really dabbling in it, I look forward to seeing what you do next. So, thank you, Michelle, and sharing my story. And I'm going to let you guys finish up.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you.
Aaron.
Yeah. So, in talking about that, you know, the stories you're sharing, and I'm seeing that it's pretty much been women that you've been shooting. Do you want to speak? Can you speak to working with women? Maybe why that's been important for you.
Well, you know, it's funny because I was thinking about this because I do shoot mainly women. I have shot men. I will, for one, it's hard to get a man to wrap himself in chiffon and dance around.
Yeah.
But it's also like one of the reasons I love photographing women is because I am one and I have my own insecurities about the way I look, you know, or whatever. And all women do. And I have photographed women and they've afterwards said, thank you. You make me feel beautiful. And I say to them, well, you are beautiful. But a lot of women don't feel that way. And so that is one of the things I enjoy the most about photographing women, is showing them like, look, see, I told you, look at you, you're beautiful.
Right.
And yeah, it's also a double-edged sword too, because the whole time before the shoot, I've got like butterflies and I'm like, I hope I do this right. I hope I make them feel good. You know,
right.
kind of like get really, you know.
Well, because you care, you care. You know, you're trying to make them comfortable and you care about the process that they're going through. And no, I think that's important to share that point. And you also had mentioned a couple times about the artworks at Pacific Grove, and it seems like that has been a space, even, you know, obviously before Shelter in Place, that's been important to you and has been important for creating this, you know, new series, and diving into this new medium. So talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, I definitely wanted to give a shout out to the Art Council and the PG Artworks. I joined last year. I had been in there before, but the original idea of joining last year was that it was an inexpensive place to do like studio work and have my pictures seen by others. But what I didn't realize was the true value was the collaboration, both of just the collaboration of the artists there, but not just art, but like just talking to them, going in there, like, how was your week? What did you create? And they show you, and you show them what you've done. And it just, you feel like a sense of community, artist community, right. Because I mean, artists, you know us, we're the weirdos. and I happily embrace that. But like, you get to be with your kindred spirits and you learn things about yourself, about others. And I have blossomed from just a photographer to an artist photographer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always been artistic, but like it just being there and just vampirely sucking the energy of like all the beauty and art around me. Like, I just feel like it is a great place to be if you're an artist or appreciate the arts, of course, come
Right.
spend money. But you know, it's welcoming.
Right. No, that's great. And you know, me being an employee, it's always good to hear that, because we're not in that space
Yeah.
as often as I would even like to. But it's nice to know that you feel like you've been seen there, you've been heard there. You have your, you know, your colleagues that you can kind of lean on and share. And I know that everyone is eager to kind of be back together again at some point. So it's just nice to have that recognized. So appreciate that. Appreciate that. So where can we find you? We talked a little bit about where we can find some of your pieces, but where are you online? And we'll be tagging all of that information in this Facebook Live. So where can we find you?
Okay, so well, I do have my stuff at the PG Artworks, which is only open on the weekends, and not yet even because of everything that's going on. My landscapes, my black and white landscapes, are at the Carmel Valley Roasting Company out at the Barnyard.
Okay.
And then the Nancy Dodds Gallery also has my landscapes, but she has all the information on my fine art composites as well there, and that's in Carmel across from Thinker Toys.
Okay.
And then my website is my name, and unfortunately I have a very long name, so it's MichelleRobertsonPhotography.com. And also on Facebook there's Mishubi and Michelle Robertson Photography, and Instagram Mishubi.
And if you're looking for, I know, but hey, now we know how to find you. If
or walking my dog along at Silmar, you can go, hey, crazy lady dog.
Right. Just go and track her down. And if you're looking for models or any people are interested in working with you, obviously they can just contact you directly and see if it's a good fit for you. And that's all.
You have a ton of ideas in here that I'm willing to do. Also, I know this, because my work tends to have like a dark, like, not dark bad, but just like I choose dark colors and that kind of thing. I'm actually going to be designing a tarot deck, but that's 78 cards. So that's actually going to take me a couple of years, probably. Yeah. But I'm always looking for people to be interested in modeling for that, because that's 78 different images.
That is amazing. That's an offline conversation we can have about an astrologer that I know who is constantly looking for new cards. So that's a really cool project. That's going to be awesome. But there's 78 people here in Monterey, you know, that can work with you. So put the call out for that. I bet you'll get a big response. So.
Also, if there's any men out there that wanted to prance around and chiffon, I don't have to be sexist. Like, you know, you're more than willing to do that for me. I would love to shoot you.
There you go. Well, our time has gone by so fast. It's already been 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And I can't wait to see you again in the flesh. And that's it. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I'm just going to tell our audience to stay tuned for next week at Wednesday at noon for another artist spotlight. And if you are interested in learning more about the Arts Council, please go to our website at www.artsformc.org. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.